Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Nothing is impossible. The word itself actually says, I am possible. You must not be great to start, but you can start to become great. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, peace-loving people of Plateau State. Glad to be welcoming you to yet another fascinating episode of your number one dynamic socio-political breakfast tonic and conscience-pricking program on radio. It is Political Update coming to you live on Silverbird, reading 93.7 FM here in the city of Jos. Today is the 5th day of February, the year 2026. My name is Pam Dunquist, and of course, the King of Boys, Ambassador Bello Lukman, is already seated to take us down our destination of 12 noon with political analysis. Bello, good morning.
Good morning, Pam Dunquist. It's always a pleasure, it's always a privilege, it's always a honor to be on Political Update because it's a train that carries everybody along, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of ethnic group, irrespective of religion. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, today on the program, we are hosting the Commissioner for Lands, Survey and Town Planning on the Plateau, and we'll be looking at a lot of issues around the outcome of the just concluded 14th National Council on Land, Housing and Urban Development, also revenue generation and area of concentration this 2026, and major areas of concern for 2026, training and welfare of staff. This and many more, we'll be looking at them in the course of the program. But then, before then, let's take the first story on the Punch newspaper. Bello, first story has it, Kwara massacre. Federal government faces hit as 100 feared dead. Whether we like it or not, it is very clear that it seems most of our leaders don't learn from the past, Bello, if you ask me. Because from the month of March 2023, when Buhari was still the president, down to the month of December, over 260 Nigerians were killed across Kebbi, Nasarawa, Yobe, and Plateau State. Over 500 were killed across Kano, Borno, Yobe, from April to September 2024, and 62% of these people happen to be civilians. We also have some military and police casualties. Also, Bello, early 2025 rather, down to early this year, 2026, over 600 Nigerians were killed across Kwara, Niger, Enugu, Benue, Yelwater to be precise, Taraba, Plateau, and other parts of the country, and over 7,000 people had to flee and leave their homes. Bello, whether we like it or not, Section 218 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria actually recognized the president as the commander-in-chief, and it gives him the power to hire or to fire in terms of non-performance. Bello, how many more people need to be killed before we now understand that we need to bring in the right hands? If they are not giving result, send them out of the kitchen, probably because they don't like the heat.
What happened in Kwara State, Pam Dunquist, if you ask me, is devastating, it's despicable, and it's inhuman. It's a national disaster because this is actually going beyond even what the state can handle right now. You remember last year, towards the end of the year, Kwara became the epicenter of arson. It became the epicenter of killing. It became the epicenter of destruction. It became the epicenter of displacement, where so many Nigerians, especially in the Felodu local government area, were displaced. Now we thought that with the military operation that was going on, because the second mechanized division, that is the second ever military formation in Nigeria after the first one in Kaduna, is located in Ibadan. And Ibadan is not too far away from Kwara State, not central Nigeria. Unfortunately for us, we don't even know what the essence of some of this proximity is if they cannot protect life and property. How do you explain, for example, to the people of Woro, to the people of the other area, where about 100 people had to lose their lives yesterday just because of nonchalance, because of laxity, because of the fact that in this part of the world, the life of the common man does not really matter at all? Can we marry this with the Kaswan Daji incident, where 60 Nigerians around the Bogu area were actually massacred? In Damala area, 4 residents were killed. In Doma, in Katsina, 20 people were killed. Can you also talk about 177 worshippers that were abducted in Kajuru local government, where the chairman of that local government came out with the commissioner of police to deny ever that any incident like that happened? So you would actually see that we are more or less like an epicenter of violence. And we always see the devastating effect left behind. Tears, sorrow, grief, anguish, and pain. That's exactly what the people of these particular places are going to be facing as we speak. Can we overhaul the security architecture like you said rightly? Can we introduce drone technology into this whole thing? Because we've been able to go to Turkey, for example, and it will interest a lot of our listeners and even the viewers to know that Turkey is actually a very, very strong country, either in Europe or any part of the world you want to think about, socially, culturally, and even defense-wise. 1962 was when Turkey established its first embassy in Nigeria. To tell you that the bilateral relationship, the trade relationship, in fact, Nigeria is the country that Turkey has taken as its own best friend as far as African affairs in trade and military is concerned. So is it possible for us, for example, to learn their drone technology that we are told is one of the best in the world? Is it possible to give a mandate to most of the military that are at the epicenter of all these places to arrest all the suspects, to rescue kidnapped victims, to recover weapons, to dismantle criminal network from Katsina to Gugab to Bako local government to Funtua local government? In between 2 weeks, 35 people have been killed. Faskari local government, Bakori local government, Kankara local government, almost on daily basis, you will actually hear about killings, you hear about maiming, you hear about destruction. And unfortunately, there are two grim reports that should alarm and befuddle Nigerians. One was by the United Nations through its resident and humanitarian coordinator in Nigeria, Mohammed Malik IV. It disclosed that not less than 35 million Nigerians will face food insecurity in this year's lean season. And what is a lean season? Between the period of May and October. And another 3 million children are likely to suffer from life-threatening severe acute malnutrition. Guess the reason? Because most of the farmers in Sokoto, most of the farmers in Zamfara, most of the farmers in Plateau, most of the farmers in Benue, most of the farmers in Niger, in Katsina, and other places cannot access their farms. In most places, they pay prohibitive taxes before they can actually go to their farm.
Not to the government.
Not to the government. The order was issued by the Action Against Hunger Country Director, Tieno Samba Diallo. It said Nigeria was the country with the highest number of people facing acute food insecurity in the world. And it said over 30 million individuals were affected. These two reports were issued on the same day. And the only reason for this is insecurity. The only reason for this is terrorism. The only reason for this is kidnapping. And like I said earlier on, in which other country do you hear that people are paying prohibitive tax, not to the government, but to non-state actors? In Kaduna State, the daughter of the vigilante head was kidnapped. And they asked that they bring 6 million naira as ransom. They phoned them on Saturday and told them that if this money is not brought, they will destroy the village. The people of the village began to desert that village, and they were running to Kagarko from Kohoto. Now go to Kohoto. That particular place is actually looking like a desert. So if non-state actors can be dictating the tune in our country, marry this with the out-of-school children, then you know whether we are prioritizing security or not. If we want to make hay while the sun is shining, by ensuring there is food security, by ensuring that at least all the statistics is addressed, can we also ensure that fertilizers, seedlings, and also feeds are subsidized for the farmer? Can we ensure that the farmer actually gets secured so that he can go to the farm with his two eyes open, not with one eye open, and be thinking with trepidation, with fear, with pain, with anguish, with grief, and all sorts of sorrows?
It's quite unfortunate that we find ourselves in this quagmire below, if you ask me. Why? Because it's obvious that most of our leaders are always concentrating on the next election and not protecting the next generation. Whether we like it or not, we need to ask ourselves the question, what are those things we learned right from the days of the Chibok kidnap and abduction in hundreds? And somebody, you remember you said something below, that when you traveled to Saudi Arabia, somebody told you that this can never, and he swore in Islam, wallahi tallahi, this can never happen in our country. But Bello, we have lost count of the number of Nigerians that have been abducted across the length and breadth of this country. And this is started like eczema. Today is in fact a chronic leprosy, as the case may be. Why? Because the number of people that have been abducted in this part of the country, runs into hundreds of thousands, and the amount that has been paid to those non-state actors run into trillions of naira, you ask yourself the question, what are we always thinking as a leader when you leave your house in the morning and return back home after work? What do you tell yourself you have achieved? When they tell you that over 200 people were slaughtered in a state like Benue State, Yelwata to be precise, like in Niger State, where people were not just killed, but they had the time to tie their hands behind and slaughter them like chicken, yet there was no response. How do we explain to the future generation that we live in a country where on one part we see governors negotiating with terrorists, on the other hand we are seeing the federal government prosecuting the case of those that were alleged to have been the ones that masterminded the killings in Yelwata? Then marry the two together. On one part we are forgiving terrorists, on the other part we are trying them. So which one should Nigerians believe and work with, and even have trust that the system is actually in their favor?
Let me correct the impression. It was not even in Saudi Arabia that I had that information.
Okay, please.
It was when I went for the Voice of America conference that I met a journalist from Niger Republic.
Yeah.
And the journalist asked me that, Bello, because we became very close. In fact, we have a group on WhatsApp that we still chat till tomorrow. And he said, please, can you explain to me, because I find it difficult to comprehend, that is it true that in your country that non-state actors, terrorists or bandits, were able to drive long kilometers from the forest with their vehicles, and they had the temerity, the audacity, and the time to pack children inside buses or lorries
in their hundreds,
and they were able to move these children into the forest, and there was no single response from any security? I said, yes, it's true. This man said, wallahi, 3 times, that this will not happen in Niger. In Niger Republic, a country that is more or less like a colony of Nigeria, in terms of trade, in terms of even human capital, and in terms of dependence. But that is exactly the reality we are facing now. Then you ask yourself, when, for example, the CBN governor's relative was kidnapped, did you see the type of paraphernalia of security that was actually used to track those kidnappers? When Ugozo Konjo-Iweala's mother was also kidnapped, did you also see the paraphernalia of security that also really were used to get this particular woman back? But when it really comes to the people that matter most, and they were talking about the voters, they are the ones that are always in the rain and in the sun. They are the ones that painstakingly, steadfastly, committedly vote for even the leaders. But whenever issues have to do with them, Kankara happened. What did we learn? Chibok happened. What did we learn? Dapchi happened. What did we learn? Bethel Green College happened. What did we learn? Kagara happened. What did we learn? In fact, when Kankara happened, the president at that time, late President Muhammadu Buhari, was still in Katsina. And we thought that at least it was an opportunity for the president to go pragmatically to see things for himself. But what did we see? We saw the president hold up in Daura, and the governor of the state, as at that time Right Honorable Bello Masari, had to be the one to leave his own comfort zone to go and brief the president in Daura, as if we are running a KBC monarchy. That is exactly the type of system we are running. Where is the urgency? When what happened in Kaswan Dere happened, where about 43 or 61 Nigerians were tied behind their backs this year in Bogu in Niger State, when it happened, one would have thought that there would be an outreach to the extent that there would be no hiding space for these terrorists. But what did we see? These terrorists had the temerity and the audacity to come back to that same vicinity the second day, and they still burnt a police outpost. So what is that telling you? It's telling you that we are more cosmetic than pragmatic. Immediately incident like this happen, you see battalions of police, battalions of soldiers. They wouldn't arrest anybody. They will only show their presence and leave. The terrorists are also monitoring their movement. Immediately they are leaving. The terrorists come back, strike again, and return. This is because there is no intelligence gathering. We are more reactive than proactive. We are supposed to be 10 steps ahead of these people. We should monitor their movement. We should know what they're doing so that at least going forward, we will be the ones to also be tracking them even before they commit the dastard, nefarious, and ignoble act they are known for.
Bello, there's one group that's so unpopular, but it has become very strong in this part of the world. We tag them as National Association of Maintainers of Table Manners. These are people that whenever food is set on the table, they will do everything possible. They are very good orators. They speak very well. They can convince you to tell you that the devil is the only way to heaven, and you will accept it because of their oratory. Bello, whether we like it or not, during the time of Buhari of blessed memory, when those children were kidnapped in Katsina State, some people said that no, this was done just to embarrass the president. And we thought that somebody will respond rapidly. But what did we see? Another one happened, another one happened, another one happened. Unfortunately, Bello, today we have the worship centers have become like the pulpit for politicians. If you go to some churches, politicians take the pulpit even more than the clerics. You go to some mosques, the politicians take the mumbling more than even the clerics themselves. Why? Because if they are there, when you know that something has definitely gone wrong, nobody wants to look at them in the eye and tell them the truth that whatever you want to support this worship center with, we don't need it. Go and make sure that the problems are solved. Bello, wait and see. When the business of the politicians is going to be affected, that's when you know that we have more than 1 million security that can be deployed to every nook and cranny of the 774 local governments. And what's that business? The next election. The next election. When it's time for campaign, before the principal campaigners will get there, just wait and see. You will see that there's going to be a combing of the entire place to be to ensure that there is nothing that will look like a scintilla of threat to the life of these elites. But once that is concluded, everybody goes back home, then you are left to your fate and to your tent, O Israel.
The moniker or sobriquet of Kwara is the state of harmony. But how well can you actually describe the synonym or the homonym or even the antonym, that is the opposite of a sobriquet, than what is happening today? A state of harmony should be quiet. A state of harmony should be calm. A state of harmony should also be embedded with tranquility and comprehension and understanding. But what are we seeing? We are seeing grief. We are seeing sorrow. We are seeing anguish. We are seeing tears in this same state of harmony. Definitely the governor of the state need to also redress the situation, because it's glaring and obvious that the governor, like the governor of Kaduna State, is also trying his best to hide the entire problem so as not to be ballooned to the extent that the international community, the national community, would know the severity, the magnitude, the scale, and the intensity of the situation. You remember at a certain time when Ifelodun local government was becoming something else, where Kayama local government was becoming something else. What did the governor say? He said the press was trying to magnify the situation.
Yeah.
It's not as much as they are reporting. As at that time, on daily basis, Nigerians are being killed in Kwara State. People were relocating from their ancestral home to the state capital. Even a school, a tertiary institution, was closed down because of its location. And yet the governor of the state was in denial. Just the way the Kaduna State governor continued to deny until the situation boomerang to the extent that you cannot cover it anymore, just like pregnancy. If a lady tells you I'm not pregnant, just give it time.
3 months will be enough.
Exactly.
4 months.
That's exactly the situation we find ourselves. What strategic effort, what deliberate effort did the governor do or put in place to ensure that what happened in Kaima would actually not have happened in the first place? Because the early signs were there. According to information, the Lakurawa terrorists came there. They were there from Bogu Forest. And I asked the question, how big is this Bogu Forest? Is it bigger than Nigeria?
No.
A state in Texas, a state in United States is bigger than the entire Nigeria, Texas.
Sure.
But they are still able to police the place. India, the voting population alone in India is 640 something million voting population.
More than 3 times the size of the population of Nigeria.
I'm not talking about the entire.
No. The voter strength.
The voter strength. But if, because people are too many in a country, then you can't police the place, then India should be the epicenter of chaos as we speak.
Or China.
Or China. But yet, they've been able to also show to the world. Because the excuse you hear today is that Bogu is bigger than the south, entire southeast. So what? Is it not a territory in Nigeria? Is that not more reason why you should have a strategic plan on ground to ensure you mitigate against this particular thing that is happening around that vicinity? Now, they were able to move from Bogu Forest. They came and met the locals. And the locals in that area are Muslims. But they told them that their own style of Islam is not in tandem with their philosophy.
It's not the authentic one.
So their people should abandon their own, abandon Nigerian constitution and follow them. And the people said no. While all this conversation was going on, that's what we call early warning signs. Where is the DSS? Where is the police? Where is the NI? Where is the BG? Where are all the security architects that are domiciled and paid with huge amounts of money to get information like this? Then marry it with what happened in Dorayi again, in Kano State, where a young boy was actually attacked. And he said his name is Ibrahim. He drives Keke Napep. Just around 10 p.m. his mom sent him, and he alongside one of his friends, Suleiman, decided to go on that errand. And they saw someone jump from the fence of BUK. And to them too, that was an early sign. Because there is no responsible person that follows the fence. So they decided to slow down because they didn't want to hit him. That became their undoing. That became their albatross. That young man picked up a knife and he told them to bring their phone. When they refused, he stabbed one of them. The other one said, please drive this tricycle for safety. And they got to a police station. Because they know that in that vicinity, you don't get treated in a hospital without a police report. So even with the bleeding, even with the excess and intense situation, they had to first go to a police station. And the policeman asks the man that is bleeding to write a statement.
Come on.
I'm telling you this.
Come on.
At the end of the day, it was people around that become on the police that don't you see that this man will soon die? Do you want a corpse to actually be related to you? And that was when the police followed them to the Murtala Mohammed Teaching Hospital. Guess what? On getting there, there was no doctor in the emergency unit. They went to another private hospital. There was still no doctor in that place. Then they went to the third one and God saved them. There was a doctor. If you see the depth of the injury, then you know that it's only God that saved this guy's life. So now you ask yourself, even the security, are they really trained in what is actually supposed to be the sanctity of life? Just one life in other crime. They can spend their entire budget to save that life. In this part of the world, if that man had died, there is no policeman in that police station that is going to lose his job. There is no policeman in that police station that is going to lose his sleep.
Hello, unfortunately, this is where we find ourselves. If you remember the unfortunate incident that happened to Anthony Joshua and his friends here in Nigeria,
yes,
and some countries were making mockery of Nigeria, that a global star actually find himself in that condition, and there were no ambulances, no helicopter, nothing that came to actually show that there is rapid response when it comes to issue of accidents. Most of the things we watch in American movies, below it happens in real life. We watch international media and we see once there's an accident, you see more than 10 ambulances. You see more than 5 helicopters hovering around that area. In case the roads are too choked up, they can use air ambulance to take that person to safety. But this part of the world, we only have media gurus, social media experts, that they are stuck in trade is to always make video and send happening right now. Breaking news. You are breaking the news of somebody's death. You are breaking the news of somebody that you are supposed to save and take him to a place where they can take care of him. Unfortunately, this is where we find ourselves. And as you rightly said, how well do we train our security personnel in terms of issues like this? Bello, something happened in the southwest, I think 2-3 days ago, where somebody actually went to save a goat in a well.
Yes.
He ended up being a casualty.
Exactly.
Then it was later on that the fire service came to save the man who actually went to save the goat. So you can imagine the situation we find ourselves.
My sister's husband was a student in Saudi Arabia. And in Saudi, as a student, you are paid salary. That, I'm sure, is news to you. You are paid salary. In fact, the salary is enough for the young man to pick his wife, my own sister, to Saudi to stay with him. Their health is free. Everything around their vicinity. In fact, I remember once they were coming to catch a flight, they had an accident, and he told me, and she also corroborated that from that scene of the accident, the ambulances that arrived were 4.
Okay.
From the state, from the federal, and from some emergency organizations that are even private in nature. And they were taken to the hospital. And I asked her, how much was your hospital bill? She said it's free. Even your caregiver will be fed, and they will still feed you in the hospital. Now, this is where I'm landing. Do you know that this young man said when he first arrived Saudi, that because he had too many debris and papers, he decided to go behind his residence to go and burn them.
Okay.
The what is this, cultural shock.
Yeah.
He decided to go there because that's what he's used to in Nigeria. And when they saw smoke around the area, that 3 different fire service responded. They just wanted to be sure that it was not a house that was burning.
Bello, all these things you said, I beg to use this phrase, is a future impossible tense in this part of the world.
Just pray we'll get organized to that extent where human life, when there is an accident in Nigeria, how do road safety transport the victims to the hospital? Most times you see some of the victims that are languishing in pain, you see them at the back of a pickup.
Yeah.
Instead of them to be inside an ambulance, so that at least the emergency response will be administered on them. I remember the day I went to Kwampan, I went to Kwa, and I was returning, and we met an accident on the way. In fact, God will continue to bless one man coming with a vehicle of presidency. The man ordered the hillocks behind him to pick that young man that was still alive, and we went to Mangu Hospital. From Mangu Hospital, we were told to come to Jos. Wow. And I was behind. I was looking at this man. I was like, can you just imagine how we're transporting this man? The man told his escort to forget about him and concentrate on saving this man. If that angel was not passing at that moment, was there any emergency on that road that would have actually been able to help, like an ambulance, to take that man to the hospital?
Bello, don't tell me you are a Christian. Don't tell me you are a Muslim. Let me see your Islamic proclivity being practiced by showing humanity.
Exactly.
Don't tell me you are a Christian. Let me see your Christianity in practice. But then, ask yourself this question as we speak this morning. We have churches, we have mosques that have hundreds of thousands, if not more than 1 million, very, very poor people. But ask yourself this question. How many times have you heard that whenever somebody comes to support a church or a mosque, probably for the imam or for the pastor or for the reverend father, as the case may be, and somebody stands up and says, no, we have very poor people here, use that to touch their lives? No, we always want to take care of the elites because we're on the same level. But the average people, the poorest that makes the congregation, nobody cares about them. Even as we speak, Bello, wait and see. Just also juxtaposing it side by side, the situation we find ourselves. If today a very poor person needs the attention of a cleric, whether from the church or the mosque, they will look at his position first, his status. If that person is very poor, the only thing they will do, they will send somebody, go and address the problem there. If it's prayer, pray for them. But when you want to buy a car for a man that does not even need it, you want to add a car to a cleric, you will see somebody standing up to give 10 million naira to donate. While the poor of the poorest, that the scripture talks to us about humanity, nobody seems to be looking at that. So if we want to blame the politicians, let's also look at it from the religious angle and see how many of our religious leaders actually have the interest of the poor people at heart.
Didn't a religious cleric in his sermon come out to tell us that during the regime of President Muhammadu Buhari, that they decided to give him a landed, choice, luxurious property in the FCT Abuja? Didn't he also tell us again that he decided to sell that property, 180 million, and he used that amount of money to purchase a house for himself, not for the mosque, not for his congregation,
not for the poor,
for the poor and downtrodden in that particular congregation, but for himself? But guess what? Because we are vulnerable, because we are gullible, by next election, the same man again tells you this is exactly the person to vote for. When the settlement comes, they don't come to you, the downtrodden, they don't come to you, the voter, they still go back to him. So that's exactly the elitist oligarchy that we are running. The government of the few, by the few and for the few.
Okay.
Until the man on the street understand that the office of the citizen is the most important office. And you don't need an intermediary. You only need to listen, comprehend, digest, and also understand the ideology. Because until we introduce ideological politics, where if you are voting for a party, you know what to expect. Like I always say in the Second Republic, when you're voting for the MPN, you know that you are actually expecting housing for all.
Sure.
And that's why the Shagari housing is actually what they always project
they call them
as their own, exactly,
yeah,
as their own what? As their own ideology. If you are voting for Awolowo's party, the UPN, then you're expecting free education.
Yeah.
So then you ask yourself as a voter, is housing my problem or the education of my child? So that forms the fulcrum of how you actually go into the election. But today, can you actually differentiate, apart from the spellings, the ideological difference between most of the political parties existing in the country today?
All right, hold your thoughts right there, Bello. Let's pay some bills. When we return, we'll go straight into the conversation with the sagacious Commissioner for Land Survey and Town Planning on the plateau, that is Honorable Barrister Peter Nyamgai, who is already in the studio, and I think he's already speaking India to us. I don't know what happened, but then we'll get to know.
Namaste.
Namaste, that's what he said when he entered the studio. Let's pay some bills. We'll be right back. This is Political Update. Stay here. All right, welcome from the break. Still Political Update going on live on Silverbird Radio 93.7 FM here in the city of Jos. You can also watch us on Silverbird TV and also on YouTube. All things being equal, after the program, we'll always share the link with you so that you can watch us from any part of the world. All right, let's go straight into the conversation. Honorable Barrister Peter Nyamgai, Honorable Commissioner for Land Survey and Town Planning, and we dub him the sagacious Commissioner and the poster boy of the Time Is Now administration. It's good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning, Bello. Good morning, Pamdun, Quiz, Namaste. Good morning, the people of Plateau State.
All right. Quickly, let's go straight into the conversation.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people out there will be holding their breath and also having their papers and biros close to them because they want to get more insight as far as land issues are concerned. We all know that in this part of the world, land issues are issues that are very sensitive, that if not well taken care of and addressed, it can lead to loss of life, as the case may be. But then, let's start from the recently concluded 14th National Council on Lands, Housing and Urban Development. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, the Council for Lands and Urban Development is the highest decision-making body as far as land matters are concerned, housing and also urban development. We were in a Lorin from 18th to 21st of January. The council is usually chaired by the minister, the Honourable Minister of Housing and Urban Development, and first of all, the directors of all lands in all the states and housing will meet and develop memos. And then secondly, all the permanent secretaries will also assemble the next day. And the final decision is usually taken by the commissioners of lands and also housing and urban development. For us, it was good that we attended. And one of the things that the takeaways in that meeting is that we're able to have memos sponsored by other states, for example, on the need to develop the concept of local materials in buildings. And Bello and Pam, let me tell you that we're able to see a duplex built using bamboo as pillars, and then as decking they use bamboo, and not the full bamboo. They will divide the bamboo into two and use it as pillars. And this is the way to go, because we must begin to develop local materials to be able to support our building industries. Yes, we looked at climate change as far as building building is concerned. But one interesting thing about the meeting is that in Plateau State, we were able to sponsor a paper on women's rights to own properties. And you know, I was in this station, I kept shouting that the men should understand with the women, we must begin to develop their capacity to register their properties and encourage them to also inherit and own properties. And I thank God that we're able to push, even though it was a difficult one, but finally we're able to push at the last level, and it was adopted as a national policy. So let me say it clearly, the issue of women's rights to properties and ownership and registration is a matter of national policy. At the state level, we have gone far. You recall that recently, precisely towards the end of last year, the House of Assembly decided to adopt and also process a bill which is personally sponsored by the Speaker himself. It has gone through the first reading, and we want to ensure that we develop laws around the ownership of properties by women. So generally, the conference went well, and for us on the Plateau, the Ministry of Land Survey and Town Planning, having sponsored that memo, which was adopted as a national policy, I think for us is a worthwhile achievement.
Honorable Commissioner, I'm sure that lots of people out there would like to know what the ministry will be doing this year differently to generate more revenue for the states.
Yeah, thank you very much. You recall that consistently the governor has maintained 50% rebate, which will soon expire in the next 1 week. I wouldn't know whether he will extend it or it will remain like that. But let me say that I want to encourage the people of Plateau State, most especially those who want to register their properties, first registration. The window is still open for 50% rebate, and ground rent also, the window is still open. So take advantage of the limited time available to be able to pay for your first registration and ground rent. Now, what we intend to do in terms of revenue generation is to see how we can intensify. You recall that last year we ended at about 1.3 billion, which I said is the highest so far the ministry has generated. In fact, it's a cumulative generation of revenue. If I have to go backwards from 2022, 2021, 2019, and 2018, cumulatively it will amount to that. So what the ministry generated over the years, past 5 years that I mentioned, we're able to make it this time around. We intend to ensure that the state gets the necessary revenue to be able to deploy, to develop infrastructures within the state. So one of the things we intend to do is to be very deliberate in terms of revenue pursuit and revenue generation. And one way we have to do it is to begin to visit those premises that have not paid their ground rent. Secondly, this year Plateau State will witness something differently. As a leadership that is responsible, people should be conscious of their responsibility. So there will be revocations this year for those who have not been able to pay their ground rent. And thirdly, we want to also ensure that we embark on this issue of recertification. We have discovered that this lack of recertification has caused prospective applicants or those who have title a lot of problems. There are some RFOs under the old dispensation that were registered with what we call site plan. And you know, site plan usually will not give you concise measurement of your land. And since we are digitized now, it behoves on those who had site plans before to come back so that they will give them survey plans to be able to chart them on the system, so that we'll do away with issues of encroachment and overlapping. And fourthly, we want to hold a conference on lands. And this conference will involve the traditional council or the traditional rulers, because we have also understood that one of the impediments to smooth land administration is as a result of the dubious act of some traditional rulers, where a land is sold, the same person signs, another person buys the land again, the same traditional ruler signs. So we must develop a framework to harmonize our position as far as those issues are concerned, and also want to also invite the local government to see how we can partner. You know, we can obtain the local government certificate of occupancy, but for us in the ministry, we encourage people to step it up so that you use it as your root of title for us to process your documents. The systematic land title registration and documentation, good again. The Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, they want to assist us to build capacity around it. So very soon we'll be having delegates from the ministry to support Plateau State, and also the Norwegian refugee, our partners, dependable partners. They have stood with us over the years, and they are also ready to support us to build capacity around the systematic land title registration. So for us, we also want to embark on a robust customer service interaction. By the grace of God, we will fix a date in each of the quarters so that we can meet with members of the general public. There are people who want to register their titles, but their fear is the bureaucratic bottlenecks.
Yes.
And since I came on board, I have encouraged people, do not pay any extra money if you must register your title. And if anybody tells you to pay extra money, please walk to my office and I will be able to assist you. If you pay the statutory fees, I think that is the only thing that is required. And therefore, a lot of people are afraid because they think lands is like the lands of before. No, certainly things have changed. And I always say, when you see something, say something. If you don't report the back edges, we wouldn't be able to know them. So please try as much. But this workshop, this interaction will enable even people with fresh application to come. We'll accept them, we'll put you through, we'll tell you the things that you need, the things that you don't have, we'll encourage you to bring it, so that at least by the time you pay your filing fees, you expect us to call you to collect your certificate.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, we'll still come back to this issue of revenue generation,
yes,
because it's very essential. When most people ask government,
yes,
for dividends of democracy,
yes,
they don't know that they also play a role in contributing towards generating what is needed for the dividends of democracy, yes, to be gotten. But then I want to take you back a little,
okay,
to that issue of the right of women to own property.
Yes.
Now, on Tuesday, the 3rd of February 2026,
yes,
the Plateau State House of Assembly,
yes,
under the leadership of Right Honorable Nanlong Daniel, the Speaker,
yes,
actually passed into second reading,
yes,
a bill for a law to provide for the protection and regulation of the rights of women, yes, and girls in Plateau State to inherit the property benefits and privileges of deceased husbands, parents, and for other related matters, 2025.
Exactly.
But then, it's one thing,
yes,
to make it either a state or a national policy.
Yes.
It's another thing to be able to actually do away or eradicate those bottlenecks,
yes,
those traditional challenges,
yes, yes,
that have been in existence,
yes,
that have hindered,
yes,
those people. Because if the law has been passed, if the governor eventually assent to it, what role is expected or has been played rather,
yes,
to ensure that this law is actually perfected, yes, to the latter, yes, that whenever there's an issue, we don't even want to hear that some people are going to court because they say they don't know anything about this law, yes, they still maintain their tradition.
Yeah, very well. You are aware that we have a robust mediation team. Any woman who is denied of her right to register her property can approach the team, and we'll certainly look at it and we'll pass our word. Secondly, on the part of the ministry, it behoves on us to also encourage the women by giving them incentives. Like I said, for us, every woman who would want to register her property, the forms are free, and we also have a desk specifically designated for women to file their applications and will take the responsibility of ensuring that their titles are registered, and will call them to collect their certificates. And also, the gender office also plays a very significant role here. They have a unit that handles such things. So for us, this is a law that must work on the plateau. We're not saying that the women will rub shoulder with the men, but what we're saying is that at least in all fairness and equity, women should also be considered in terms of owning properties and also having the right to come and register the properties that they acquire on their own without the interference of the men or bottlenecks set by the men to stop them from registering. Yes.
Okay. Honorable Commissioner,
Yes.
which areas are we going to be having our attention and our satellites upon this year from the Ministry of Land?
Yeah, apart from the ones that I have mentioned, we also would want to see how we can better off the lives and welfare of our staff. For a staff that are so dedicated to generate that amount of money, certainly we must be reciprocal in terms of welfare. So this year we'll witness a lot of welfare on the part of the staff. We intend to use our spaces. If you go to the ministry, you see a lot of spaces. Very soon, the ministry is going to be turned to a games village, where the staff can be motivated, and also Pandun Quiz and Bello. Once in a while, you can come and play table tennis and play badminton. But if you defeat me, you won't go. That is again. So certainly there will be a lot, and the GIS upgrade. We've been having a lot of support from the World Bank to see how we can develop and upgrade our GIS. So these are part of the things that we intend to do this year moving forward.
Okay, Honorable Commissioner, I think I'll remain with you on this last issue that you raised.
Yes.
Interestingly, back in the days, we used to see in secondary schools, even in primary schools, when it's time for games, you see both teachers and students playing games together, and that breaks the barrier of superiority and inferiority between the leaders and the led, or the leaders and their subordinates. And I think that's an interesting one. But then I still want to take you back to this issue of revenue generation. What role does the average Nigerian play in also contributing to the generation of revenue for the development of his own community? And if possible, can you just give us an idea of what you have been able to achieve within the period in office?
Honestly, I want to call on all Platonians, most especially those who benefit or take advantage of our facilities, to ensure that they also help us. Because we have incidences where our clients or customers will connive with staff to deprive government of the necessary revenue. Let me say it clearly. That amount we generated last year was not as a result of the addition of any services. No. What we just did was to block leakages. So you can imagine, it then means that close to between 800 to 900 million was going into individual pockets. And that is not too good enough. And mostly we discovered that outsiders take more of the benefit. For example, also, we have discovered a lacuna in our valuation exercise. If you want to sell your property, please ensure, if you're using an agent, if you're using a lawyer, make sure that they report the exact amount that you sold that property. In most cases, or in some cases, you discover that they will connive and reduce the value because they don't want to pay either the 3% for deed of assignment or 8% for past surrender. But let me say clearly, if you encourage that, it means you are also undoing yourself, because the value of that property will be in a file. And subsequently, if you want to sell and somebody conducts a search, he will really know how much this property is worth. I have seen a property that was bought for 400 million and they valued it for 20 million.
Wow.
What it then means is that instead of paying government revenue on 400 million, they're only paying government revenue on 20 million.
And the documents were in the office?
Yes, in the office and in the file. So I doubt it if the owner of this property is aware of this illegal transaction, because what they have done is to reduce the value of his property, and for how much? For a very insignificant amount of money. So certainly, if the members of the public will assist us by reporting such incidences and insist that the correct thing should be done, I think it will help us. Now, on achievements, one of the things that I want to appreciate our prospective customers for understanding with us is the issue of fast-tracking the duration for processing of titles. And like I said, we have kept to our words, all things being equal, even though there are some challenges. So if we exceed the target period that we have, of course, say we will achieve, people should be able to understand with us. We're still perfecting the system. But let me say that currently we have stepped up, and by the grace of God, we still have about 1,000 certificates that are being signed now. If you add them to the ones we have done, I think we're almost hitting 7,000 registered titles in less than 3 years. On a comparative basis, from Benue Plateau to 2023, when the administration of Barrister Caleb Rufan came into power, we have as registered titles in the entire plateau 7,500. So
from
it then means
Benue Plateau dates.
From Benue Plateau dates to 2023.
Over 50,
Yes.
almost 60 something years.
Yes, over 60 something. So we have been able to do a lot, and we will still do a lot. And we have made the process very simple. Please, I will encourage us to come and register our properties. And the advantage of doing that is, one, you can use it as collateral. Two, nobody will encroach on your property once you are registered, because you use the survey plan to chart it on our momentum, and then if subsequent applicants come, certainly the system will not allow it to happen. We're encouraging organizations too, schools, to come and register and obtain titles, because we have had situations where, for example, University of Jos, you see a lot of encroachment on the land belonging to University of Jos. And also, we are not magicians to know whether this area is bordering on University of Jos land or not. So we sat with the VC and said, chart the entire University of Jos land, which we have done. Now, if you bring an application that borders on University of Jos land, immediately you chart it, it will tell you this land belongs to University of Jos.
Don't encroach.
That is the essence of having a title. It reduces conflict, it avoids duplication in terms of registration, and also it puts money in the hands of the applicant.
All right, Bello, I don't know how we're going to do this. The commissioner actually introduced an element of complication, but thank God we know the shortcuts in the Ministry of Land. By the time we are able to defeat him in the table tennis, we just look at the train rail track just behind beside the.
We can go through the fence.
So I think what you have to do, since you are taller than me, you help push me first to jump the fence, then you find your way yourself.
You're welcome. Perfected my art in table tennis.
Wow.
Okay.
And indeed, on the plateau now, the people that can actually win me in table tennis, maybe they will be countable. That's the truth about it. So the commissioner should beware.
Bello, I give up.
Honorable Commissioner, don't be threatened and don't be carried away with such a sweet mouth until when you meet in the field.
Miracles happen.
The Hausa will say, "Get in the back."
Exactly.
So don't mind Bello. The last time he organized a tournament, he was beaten by somebody in his own tournament.
Yeah.
But then, quickly, as we open the phone lines for our listener and viewers out there to add their voices, we want to join the family of our friend and brother, Architect Hart Bankert, who will be actually having a Thanksgiving memorial mass of their late father, that's late Das Tokes Clement Bankert, this Sunday in Fier, St. Vincent de Paul Catholic Church precisely. So we join the family in remembering our father, and may God continue to console the entire family. 080-6464-1536 is the number to call, and 080-2971-0202 is for text messages. Please, no name calling, no stereotyping, and no stigmatization of any kind. Comments made on this platform are not the opinion of Silverbird Reading 93.7, but of those who make them. So please be guided, and we are going to be focusing on issues around land matters. So whatever question you want to ask, whatever contribution you want to make, ensure that it's tailored towards issues around lands on the plateau. The commissioner is more than willing to actually provide solution and give answers to your questions. Bello will start with the messages.
Good morning, United Nations Peace Ambassador Billy Lupan, MCPDK, and the Honorable Commissioner. I hope the Ministry will build low-cost houses so that people will have access to housing and government will generate revenue on land and out of all revenue. Hope your ministry will explain true local languages to the people. Sude is in Lasisi and he's asking the question. Morning, Mr. BMP, regards to the guests in the house. The Commissioner has spoken well. The attack that led to the killing of many innocent people in Kwara and other parts of Nigeria is pathetic and should be condemned by all. I'm calling on the government to be up and doing and protect its citizens. I didn't see your name. Very sorry for that. This one is saying, I'm still waiting for my C of O after 15 years. On February 2025, Bill last year, I spoke with the commissioner on this platform. I didn't see the remaining part of your message. I don't account for. Okay, I spoke with the commissioner on this platform. He told me to come to his office. I went and did all they told me to do. But up to this point, I've not received my C of O. File number PL 46746. Adol Okafor. Thank you, Adol. Morning, BRP, regards to the guests in the house. The commissioner has spoken well. We've taken this message. It's terrorists. Okay, Emilot is Nagingi. We didn't see the remaining part of your message. I'm sorry, and I don't want to take your message without the comprehension. You have said it all yesterday, Mr. Bello Pamoli. God will reward you. Kudos to Professor Nentawi for good leadership. Give my advent, Icho Tarok is in Lantan North. Good morning, political update, Honorable Commissioner of Land and Survey. Well done, sir. For well detailed and concise information bordering on matters. I'm better informed this morning about land matters. Finally, what always gives me joy with you is your openness to welcome anyone that have issues. Should meet you personally in your office. Kudos to you, sir. Kipsinamu Gowam is in Jericho. Good morning, gentlemen. The Honorable Commissioner has spoken well. The Honorable said if anyone is overcharged, he or she should come to him. My question is, how accessible is he for one to report to him and on any overcharging issue? Enoch A. Bango is into the water. Good morning, Mr. Williams, PDK, and the guests in the studio. Last one, saying kudos and welcome to a guest that tried and find time just to come and enlighten us about land, most especially how to own and how to sell land. We are saying thank you, but my question goes like this. As you rightly talked about, that both the seller and the buyer must have a valid document, but does that document have lasting limit or years to renew it? That's my question. Iyam Aminu is asking that question. Good morning, Bill Williams, PDK, thank you for analysis. And to your guest, the Commissioner for Land and Survey. Insecurity in our country, only God can help. Pray for Plateau and Nigeria for peace. My regards to all staff of former Justice Rolling Mill and all Aspa fans. Bonus Daniel, thank you very much. Good morning, BMP. The reason why security thrives in Nigeria is because regionalism, tribalism, and religious difference is what we promote by our good leadership. Even the masses who are always the victims of insecurity are brainwashed to the extent that they don't even want to hear the name America coming to our aid. Imagine some northern leaders calling on the president to change INEC chairman because of religion, as if previous ones did anything better. When is Nigeria going to be a country? Amos is in Al-Heri, and he put the country in parentheses. Good morning, Bello and PDK. I appreciate your unbiased analysis. Bello, please kindly help us to alert and the security to come to our aid at Down Base and Echo Staff, where the kidnappers are disturbing the two communities. In fact, even yesterday, 3 people were kidnapped, including a student at Down Base. Joel is in Down Base. And we hope the new Commissioner of Police is listening to this program. Good morning, MCPDK and Sagashas Bello Lukman. Glad to hear the good news of the landed U.S. Army yesterday in Nigeria, waiting to see good actions against terrorists. Gomex Agom is in Fogo. Thank you, Gomex. Nyalab Salas is in Kwang. Good morning, sagacious gentlemen of the press. Please, those politicians should stop disturbing us with 227. We have bigger problems bedeviling us. I didn't see the remaining part of your message. There's no doubt that Nigeria is gradually becoming a field state with the wanton killings of innocent citizens. But how long will this continue? Sunday body is in Jingle. Good morning, PDK and Uncle Bello. The question is why and how are these bandits stronger, powerful, or past our securities? Imagine the latest one in Kwara. The killings, kidnappings, attackings, etc. Is there any truth in the country? No any trading with people's blood? Thank you and God bless you. Port Joseph is in Bakin Kogi. Thank you very much.
All right, let's pick the first call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, your name and location, please.
I'm sorry, I don't have God has sent me the sheet now.
Okay.
Yes, last year, about a year now, I spoke with the commissioner on this platform. And you don't need to come to the office, and I went to the office and met the PA. They would give me to the office where I should do one of the things, and I did all he told me to do. And until this moment, it's about a year now. I've not received this year.
All right. He's jotting it down. He'll respond to you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Right, this one says, good morning, MC PDK and Bill Lukman and the Honorable Commissioner, the sagacious one for that matter. I'm enjoying your program. Please help me ask the Commissioner what is his office doing about the exorbitant charges those house agents do charge for rent. Richard is in UBE.
All right. 08064641536. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Panduk and Bill Lukman.
Morning. Your name and location, please.
Happy New Year, these are refusal constitution.
Jude, go ahead. You have 1 minute.
What I have to say about the Honorable Commissioner in the studio, Panduk and Bill. This man in the studio has done wonderful ministry. And I just encourage others to learn from him. And whenever, even if you can, there is a cost in that his office. You can sit down the two parties and resolve it. That man is the one I have advised him personally. Let him warm up, maybe after 2031 to become governor of this great state. But he tell me that maybe
Jude, you are going to pay for campaign. I like to look for you.
It's not this short campaign. That man is a wonderful man.
Okay.
God bless you, Bendo, and the fans, and God bless our commissioner. Good morning.
Thank you so very much, Jude, sir.
Thank you very much, Josas Kilikata Samuto. Good morning, the two wise men in the studio. You people are really doing a very good job. May God continue to strengthen you both in Jesus' name. Please don't give up to your guests for a good governance in our nation, Nigeria. Please kindly add me up to the WhatsApp, and I'm saying hello to the sagacious commissioner, Kilikata Somuto. Thank you very much. David Nat Musa. Good morning, Sabelo and Mr. PDK. Good job to you guys. It's really barbaric. Our government really need to wake up from sleep and do the needful. Look at the recent attacks on Woro village in Kwara State. David Nat Musa. Good morning, BNP and the guests. Keep the good work going. We lost many Nigerians today again. I don't even know what to say to this government, but to me I say this with no single apology to local, state and federal government that they have failed so what are they going to tell us in 2027 election? Let's continue to pray and live together in peace. And Afalashade is saying that. Morning BNP and the guests, despite all the reforms and policies of the APC administration, the impact of these policies and reform have not been felt at the grassroots level. Instead, poverty and insecurity have escalated and Nigerians are hungry and angry. That's why we want a swift action on the electoral reform so that we can have a credible election to vote our corrupt leaders out, because I believe 2027 will be Nigeria versus the party. God bless Nigeria. I don't miss about you. Good morning, BNP. Happy New Year to Commissioner in the House. I want to remind you about those that called themselves agent last year. I text it on this platform. I didn't register. They are still collecting money for agent fee. Please, I need clarification from the Commissioner. Good morning, Bello and MCPDK. Killings in Nigeria is no longer a thing of concern, and it's quite unfortunate. Killings through the hot bullets of disgruntled terrorists is heartbreaking. The bandits and terrorists operate at will. What are the use of fighter jets we have? Bandits and terrorists are killing. Government is good at announcing the figures and location. Is Nigeria having two types of government? Emi Longs is in Agegi. I'm still waiting for my CFO after 15 years. Okay, Adola Kafo, you've called and you sent a message. Good morning, PDK and Bello. The story of a police officer asking a bleeding victim to write a statement actually broke my heart. And I've been wondering who actually was the first person that suggested that writing a statement or being accompanied by a police officer to a hospital is more important than saving a life. If you write a statement and eventually die, of what importance is the statement? Will it be kept in a museum or what? In Nigeria, instead of changing batteries of a remote control, we rather slap it until it regains consciousness. Joel is in state locus, and that is the text message carries a lot of messages.
Yeah.
Ask me. Suleiman Science is in Yusuf Street. Morning BRP regards to the guest. The commissioner has spoken well. The attack that led to the killing of many innocent people in Kwara and other parts of Nigeria is pathetic and should be condemned by all. I'm calling on the government to be up and doing and protect its citizens. The security challenges is becoming unbearable. Suleiman Science is in Yusuf Street. Bulus Oman Esther is in Faringada. Good morning, two wise men in the studio. Keep up the great work out there. The guests have really spoken well. We pray for a better plateau in Nigeria of our dreams. Thank you very much.
All right, let's pick more calls. 08064641536 is the number to call. Please turn down the volume of your radio when you make that call. Let's go to the WhatsApp platform. Good morning, gentlemen in the studio. So far, 72 dead bodies have been buried yesterday, but more than 90 uncovered dead bodies were burned into ashes in their houses. Enough is enough. Government should wake up. Amin Abdullah Shaibu is saying that, good morning, Mr. B&P, the Honorable Commissioner. We are Nigerians and we are proud of Nigeria, but may Nigeria not happen to any of us. We can only have a better Nigeria when we collectively come together and fight for our common goals. Let's keep our religion and tribal differences aside. Let's be human, because hunger and insecurity has no religion or tribe. Suleiman Abubakar Keke Rider. Good morning, Mr. Bello MCPDK, Honorable Commissioner for Land, Survey and Town Planning. I want to ask, if one possesses local government CFO, what are the necessary things needed to access RFO and CFO? Thank you for enlightenment and educating us with this information, Honorable Tikjani Abdul Rahman. Good morning, gentlemen in the studio. Please, I want to plead that the people of Rukuba Road should be given attention in terms of water. The water board, through government, should please do something about the people. For the people of Rukuba Road. This is Akas from Satellite Market. The federal government deployment of 1 battalion to spearhead Operation Savannah Shield in Kwara State to checkmate terrorists and protect vulnerable communities is better late than never. For the past 2 years, we have been calling for such massive operation against terrorists in Northwest and North Central, but it seems the politicians in government are busy with 2027. Thank God Trump and the recent attacks are bringing them back to their senses. Tawfiq Buhari is saying that. Honestly, the Honorable Commissioner have made a lot of reform in the ministry in terms of urgency in processing of title and other services. Tijani, I didn't see the other name. Hello and greetings to my most amiable, amazing and distinguished journalists in the house, MCPDK and ever great golden son of Jos, Ogabelo Lukman. My most special greeting goes to the Honorable Commissioner of Land Survey in the house. Please, when is the date for the interaction and workshop? Secondly, who is the newly appointed Commissioner of Police of Plateau State? You didn't put your name. Good morning, Mr. B&P. May God bless you people and Rhythm FM for always giving us good information. Please, I want to ask the Honorable Commissioner where they are located. Thank you from Ata Idowu. Commissioner, will allow you to respond to some of these questions, then we'll pick some other questions.
Thank you. Where we're located, if you know Ekwa Church, Ekwa headquarters, where immediately after the Ekwa headquarters, you find is off Joseph Gomwok, you find Ministry of Land Survey and Town Planning there. Secondly, the issue of local government CFO, what do you need? Usually, if you have a local government CFO, we anticipate that you must have done due diligence at the local government level. You will have verified whether you are the actual owner of the land or not. And once you have it, what you just need is just the survey plan, and also you fill a form we will issue with your RFO and subsequently CFO. On the practices by agents, honestly, this is worrisome on the plateau because rent has gone haywire on the plateau. Recently, a friend asked me to get him a 2-bedroom flat, and one of the agents said he got one around Refill Zaramaganda Road, and he's expected to pay 6.4 million for 2 years.
For rent?
For rent
not
only.
To buy the house?
Not to buy the house.
Okay.
And I quickly asked how many flats. He said 6, and I said, have people actually entered? He said yes, that's the only one remaining. And honestly, it baffled me that people are able to raise that money. And when I probe further, and let me say it so that our security agencies can also take a heed, Jos has become more or less a headquarters of this Yahoo. Yes. I was told that they have relocated here, and that is why they can afford to pay such exorbitant rent. And I think moving forward, I will relate with my colleague in the Ministry of Housing to see how we can develop a law around it so that this high cost of houses in terms of rent will be regulated. Other states have done it, and I see no reason why we cannot do it on the plateau. Yes, federal government has set up an agency to accredit agents. So very soon we will invite the DG, and if possible we will come to the radio so that he can enlighten us on who is an agent and who is not an agent. On the issue of okay, that if you have a title, can you renew? No, you can only renew your title after 99 years.
Wow.
So we'll give you a title, a CFO for 99 years. The only thing you'll be doing is every year you pay what we call ground rent. Ground rent is a life that keeps and sustains your title. Let me publicly apologize to Adolf Okafo, and I take personal responsibility for the delay in the processing of your CFO. I will certainly get your number, and also if I get it right, I think the file number is 4646, but I also confirm if it is correct. I can assure you that we'll take a look at it, and you receive a call from me tomorrow by the grace of God. The final one on the issue of low-cost housing. Yes, I did tell you that the state government is working in conjunction with the federal government to see how we can provide affordable houses for the people of Plateau State. Recently, we had cause to acquire about 90 hectares of land around the city axis for the construction of renewed hope houses for the people of Plateau State. I was with the Honourable Minister in our Ilorin land conference, and I had to raise this issue, and out of his own magnanimity, he instructed the Permanent Secretary to include Plateau State in the next batch of those projects to be considered.
Beautiful.
Alright, we have some messages. My name is Mikan on the move. Why is government relaxing on old buildings? Just to renovate them is difficult for them. Look at Federal Secretariat, State Secretariat, Police Headquarters and others. Thank you. Alright, Maxwell's Flood Hotel Jobs. I'm expecting security challenges to minimize and not to extend or escalate. Government should not play politics with the life of Nigerians. Leadership and the future of Nigerians is what we are seeing now. What happened in Kwara and Katsina State is a very sympathetic situation. Maxwell City Lodge Hotel is seeing that.
All right, let's pick more calls. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Pandung Press.
Morning, your
Good
name and
morning, the
location,
son of
please.
nobody that comes somebody without anybody. Good morning, Able Commissioner.
Good morning, sir.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
For good work that day.
Thank you.
In fact, you see people started work. I'm happy for your work. You are
Thank you.
doing a great job.
I appreciate it.
For me to get my share of state, how many years? But under your tenure, I got everything. God will bless you people.
Thank you, sir.
You see, what I want to say is more special. The way people are doing the waterways, I don't know what they are doing about it. More special part of Kenya High School in Golden Base, you know this Shaka. Come to Shaka, you see the way they are building waterways. I didn't know when the more special at the bank, I call him week of our generation. I didn't know when he will come to this place. I will speak my own opinion. You understand? So I will tell him, let you people move around. And you should warn this Nangwa, the so-called Nangwa. They are the people doing all this problem. When problem come out, we call them, they will not come and solve the problem. But they are only just present their commission. When they get their own commission, that is all. Their interest is just pay your own commissioner. You understand? When you pay commission, shikena. When you get problem, they are called them. They will not tell you, go meet chief. When you go chief, chief will tell you, go eat this. Before you know it, they will see it other happen. And also, my heart goes to people that cheat. My people that cheat in Kwara. Honestly, this government is supposed to even talk about nothing like about the election for these people that are cheating. They're supposed to make sure that they fetch all these people, all these fanatics, all these killers. They're supposed to fetch their out before talking about election. After that, they will keep it under carpet and talking about 2027 election. They do it carpet. Now, who they put it into this country? Thank you. May God bless our country, bless our planet.
Thank you so very much.
That's Kingsley Barnabas. Ezekiel Aramu is saying, good crew in the house. Amin Abdullah Shoaibu, enough is enough for the killing of innocent Nigerians. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and location, please.
Yeah, please, my name is Chidi from Terminus.
Chidi, go ahead. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, yes. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Greetings, South Africa, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, my most special greeting goes to the Honorable Commissioner in the House.
I
Good morning,
appreciate
sir.
you, Chidi. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. I was the one who posted a message on WhatsApp. I forgot to add my name. Sorry. The last message.
No problem.
The last message.
Okay.
Yes, I was asking who is the newly appointed Commissioner of Police for just last state.
Okay, you
And
get
then, when is this in our interaction and workshop coming up, sir?
Okay. Thank you so very much. 08064641536 is the number to call. Please turn down the volume of your radio when you make the call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is Dave here, Joe.
Dave, go ahead. You have 1 minute.
Just to congratulate the Honorable Commissioner.
Thank you, Dave.
And I'd like to say that the reward for hard work is not only more work, but greater status of work. And we pray God will keep us and bless us. God will give the Commissioner a higher position to be able to do greater work for Plateau State and for Nigeria and for humanity.
Right.
Let us learn to be hospitable and not hostile.
Right.
God bless you for the great job, and God bless Plateau State and Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. 08064641536 is the number to call. The new Commissioner of Police is CP Basi Ewa. He's the new Commissioner of Police, and the date for the training or that sitting, the Commissioner will let you know. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. TBK, and Mr. Bello Lukman, and Honorable Commissioner for Land and Survey, Honorable Peter Nyamga in the studio. I'm going to come to calling from Bajin.
Go ahead, Gordo, you have 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. TBK. Honestly, I want to give kudos to Honorable Peter Nyamga for the good work that he's doing in the ministry. Honestly, let me keep it up. They say to whom much is given, much is expected. And the reward of hard work is more work. But my question to Honorable Peter Nyamga is that what are you doing to tackle the issue of land enforcement and land grabbing across the state? I want the Honorable Commissioner to clarify on that.
Okay. You will do that.
Day, and God bless you.
Thank you, Gorzo Kobje from Panchin.
Right, morning. All below yesterday, there was a drama in Jos. Some people said the world has come to an end because the sun appeared in 5 different directions. But lies in Jos. I remember someone calling me all the way from Vaughan, and you could see fear in the person's voice that they were actually running helter-skelter because they thought the rapture had occurred. So they want to know whether we are still alive inside.
And they are the only ones left. Actually, that's according to experts, they call it sun halo. They say that's what happens. The sun appears almost with some resemblance of it by the side, and there's a cycle, like a rainbow cycle, cycling the sun. Then you see some tiny, shiny, whatever, that it looks like the sun, but it's not up to the side of the sun. Yeah. They call it sun halo. Maybe we'll talk more about that. Let's take more calls. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Pam.
Morning, your name and location, please.
Well, good morning, Mr. Bello and the Honorable Commissioner.
Thank you.
My name is Ayola. I'm calling from George.
Go ahead.
These are my unique guardian. I have a particular plot of land I acquired, so I need direction on how to rectify it. I don't know how to go about it. That's why I called you.
All right. Thank you. Okay, 08064641536 is the number to call. Please turn down the volume of your radio when you make that call. Let's pick this call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Pam.
Morning, your name and location, please.
And the commissioner in the studio there.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, this is Dr. Kabo.
You have 1 minute, please make it fast.
Yeah, I know. My own is about the issue of security. In fact, it's a very big slap in a very big giant African continent like Nigeria. For Nigeria, look at Kwara State. If you can look at it from the previous, nobody believes that this security can go to Kwara. But look at how this thing has started escalating to different parts of the state, which we never believe it will happen. And the security agency and the government of this APC, they are now eating, campaigning because of what? They don't know what is. Killing is just like chicken now for Nigeria. You will think they will kill people, nobody will care. They will ask how many they kill. In fact, it's a shame. It's a shame for Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thanks so very much. 08064641536. We'll pick one last call and return to our guest. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, your name and location, please.
My name is A.S. Francis, calling from Kimwala.
Go ahead, you have 1 minute. You are the last caller for today.
Okay, the issue of I think what I'm trying to say is that NOA, they have work to do by enlightening those people living in a rural area. Waiting for police report before accepting the vision is no longer in existence. I think this issue has been abolished over 3 years ago. What they do,
accept the greeting, greet the greeting, as you are greeting the greeting, you can send somebody from the office there to nearby police station if they insisted that there must be a police. And the problem is that go to some police station in the night, you will not even see a single person, or even only one person you see at the station. Because they enjoy the lack of manpower. And because of the, and then one person cannot leave his beat. So what do they do? So that's only one thing anyway you have to do for this year.
All right.
Go to rural area enlighten people that they should not wait for police report before accepting a duty or any job person.
All right.
So I have to say good morning.
Thank you so very much. You are the last caller for today. All right, Honorable Commissioner.
Yes, Ayola, you have a property. Congratulations. And for you to register, we will need your sales agreement, we will need your survey plan, we will need your change of ownership. That one is done at the local government level. And you come to the ministry, obtain a form, and we will certainly raise a demand notice where you pay a token and we will process and call you to collect your certificate. Gorzo, what are we doing about land grabbing? Yes, we are doing a lot, most especially His Excellency the Governor of Plateau State. There's a committee on land grabbing that is working on the ground, and for us in the ministry also, we want to extend this systematic title land registration to the areas where our people are displaced, so that they will be able to own their titles to defend their lands moving forward. Chidi, yes, we will announce the date for the interaction very soon, and it will be public. And we advise members of the public, those who intend to come with their documents, so that we can accept and register them, to please come with their sales agreement, your survey plan, and then change of ownership from the local government, so that we will just give you a form and passport. We'll just give you the form there and then. You fill and we accept it, you pay, and we start your the processing of your title. Building on waterways, honestly, this is also disturbing. Apart from JNDB, we are saddled with the responsibility of town planning. We have a unit, a department, town planning. In fact, immediately I leave here, I'm going to hold a meeting with my staff to ensure that the proper and correct thing is done. I've had cause to disapprove some properties or lands because on account of infractions as to setback. I have seen houses under high tension, honestly, which is very unfortunate.
Exactly.
So and those houses, we have denied them titles, and those ones that maybe by human oversight we have given them titles, if we discover, usually we recall the titles or cancel them as the case may be. Buildings, old buildings, the state secretariat is taking a new look. If you go to Ministry of Lands too, you can see some upgrade and improvement. If we're asking government to improve their own, let also private citizens, most especially those that are staying around the highway, should also upgrade and paint their houses so that the city can be attractive for all of us. Thank you.
All right, that's the much we can take from the Commissioner of Land Survey and Town Planning this morning. Thank you for your time, Honorable Commissioner. And it's not out of place to say Happy New Year, because this is the first time we're hosting you on this program. And according to experts, a sun halo or 22-degree halo is an optical phenomenon caused by sunlight refracting or bending and reflecting through millions of tiny hexagonal ice crystals suspended in high altitude cirrus clouds. These crystals are like prisms, breaking and bending the light at a 22-degree angle, creating a ring around the sun. So that's what experts are saying. So the world has not come to an end. Myself, Bello, Ugo, fine boy journalist, and also the commissioner, we are still on earth. So no rapture has taken place. Bello, before we wrap up quickly, somebody actually sent me a message yesterday, and I asked myself the question. I had to put a call through to somebody from Plateau, that some students were actually denied writing their exams because they could not buy departmental t-shirts. And I asked the question, is that actually part of the policy of the school? I had to call somebody from my compound. I said, is it true that they stopped some students from writing exams because they could not buy departmental t-shirt? He said yes. I say, how come? But we'll make findings to ascertain, because if parents could raise money spend their time and even deny themselves some pleasures to ensure that they pay school fees running into hundreds of thousands, then because of a t-shirt that is for department, not for the school, I wonder how that become an issue. Quite unfortunate.
You cannot leave substance and go for inanities, because I don't know the significance of that t-shirt to the educational pursuit of the children in Plateau State University, Bokos. And we will definitely go and conduct our investigation if that is true. We'll also let the authorities know, and if the authorities actually say it's official, then we'll let them know what the ethos and the ethics of education say. We cannot have a situation where, because you actually told students to buy t-shirt and they didn't buy, which is optional and which is insignificant and infinitesimal
to the reason why they're in school,
then we should be able to take that up. As such, we will, even if it means going to Plateau State University, Bokos, we'll definitely do so to investigate this case, Pablo Quiz, if you ask me.
All right, we'll make our findings to ascertain the veracity of these allegations, because parents actually buy clothes for their children before they go to school. They didn't go to school naked, so those clothes, I don't think they are the reason why they went to that school. All these are social things that are optional, as Bello rightly said. All right, Ugo, the fine boy journalist, thank you for always being there behind the camera. And the latest angle, according to the commissioner, David Friday, thank you for producing us. Bello, as we wrap up.
Yeah, the commissioner tactically decided to jump one question.
Okay.
I'm sure he does not want to also be drawn to the murky or the controversial waters of politics, because somebody talked about 2031 and I didn't see the commissioner respond to that. But nevertheless, time will tell. Pardon, please.
All right, quickly, let me squeeze in this one. Well done, Bello, PDK, and our commissioner. Efforts to link up prove difficult. Kindly tell the commissioner to look into my case, which I reported earlier, issue of land allocation in Guafan, which was revoked. He promised to relocate to us, but up till now, up to date, nothing has been done. We are waiting. Ruth Abo. Thank you so very much, and that's much we can take. Keep listening to this station. That's the only station authorized to make you happy. Hope to see you at the other side of sunrise tomorrow. My name is Pam Dunquist. Bye-bye.